What's good, y'all? I'm Jessamine Stanley.
And I'm Ash Phoenix.
In summer 2021, we sold our stuff and started living full-time in our Coleman Rubicon trailer.
We're traveling across the U.S. to get to know ourselves, each other, and the beautiful, complicated, messy country that bore us.
Hit that subscribe and like button to join us as we find out what it really means to find our way home. It seemed like buying a used RV is the best way to go about it. It's just like buying any kind of car. Like, there's going to be problems with it, and it's better sometimes to have somebody else have figured out the initial problems with the RV and then gotten those things fixed, and then you get the better version on the second go round. But because we had to buy so quickly, it didn't seem like a good idea to just buy like any used RV. And it's a huge initial cash investment up front if you buy a used RV, because you're going to be like buying directly from a seller more likely. So what we decided to do instead was buy a new RV from Camping World and finance the RV. Yeah. It's basically like taking on a car payment or a house payment, and you're just paying it off over time. But because it's like comparatively a pretty small financial investment for a house, you can pay it off a lot faster than you would pay off a house. You can also sell it. And because we bought a new RV, our RV is like really like top of the line and dope. And watch, it's about to break tomorrow now that I've said that, but it's like amazing. And
like the things that have been worn out in most RVs, even just from a little bit of use, are just still brand new for us.
Also, ours is brand new 2021. The RV manufacturers definitely thought about the 2021 consumer when they made it, so that we have a full-size fridge as opposed to like an RV size fridge. We have a solar panel that we don't know how to use properly, but it's coming with time.
We learned that it's wired incorrectly, so when we get that, y'all are not ready.
Literally, we're not ready. It came fitted with a Wi-Fi extender like when we got it. So once we figure out how to use that, that'll be cool. Yeah, and just a lot of the design elements are really modern, and it's just overall very easy to use. And the tires are brand new. The way, and all of like the undercarriage has not already like rolled over so many things that like there's shit broken up underneath,
rusted out.
Yeah. Like everything is just so fresh and crispy so that we can really do our worst with it. And we've had some situations with it where I've been glad that it was not old.
One of the things they said when they sold it to us is that the outside of the camp, the exterior of the camper and the interior of the camper, there's like a final sort of like paint or something that makes it easy to clean. Which I feel that like the newness of it makes it's like not already been damaged or like washed off by acid rain or any of that. And so it's pretty easy to clean. The floors are brand new and not worn in different spots or like peeling up in different ways. Nobody had used the black tank before we traded the toilet out for a composting toilet. So the black tank in our RV has never been used for anything. It's one of the things we need to learn, how to hook up the black tank so it can hold gray water. But that's another video, I'm sure.
But if the black tank has already been used, there's usually like a septic smell that goes along with that. And so
it's plastic and it's hot.
Yeah.
So you do the math.
But because ours is brand new, that has never been touched. It's great. But if you buy an old RV, there's a lot of renovations that you need to do just like right out the gate. Like you might need to pull the floor up because there's mold in the floor because the ceiling is leaking. Like we really want to paint, but that is an aesthetic choice. You might need to paint because there's water damage in the walls or shit like that. So like I feel like it's been really cool to just live into the space that we have and learn about it. And like RVs are made like fucking Tonka toys. Like for real, they're just made out of plastic and like they are not made for grown-ass, fat-ass human beings that take up space and that break shit, you know? And so that's been a really interesting piece of this as well.
Are there any things that have either worn out or damaged or moved or shifted since we've been on that you notice the most or you're saddest about?
No, but I feel like there's something for you.
There's a few things. Okay, one of the we each have one seat. And on the back of mine is where the bunk beds start. And since I've been sort of crawling on the top bunk to either just be there to spend time or to store things or whatever, I step on the part in the middle of my back that holds the pillow, the cushion.
Oh my God, I hate that
And
part.
so as I do that, it bends down and bends down and bends down. And I bend it back up every so often, but there's no other step.
We need to get a ladder.
We need to build something beautiful that seconds as a ladder. But that thing, I just noticed it's just like bending, and then I bend it back, and then it bends some more, and then I bend it back. And there's just these little things like that where I feel like I'm sort of at a tug of war with in the RV, where I'm like, my lifestyle exists in this way. Like, for instance, I need a step or a ladder or something to get up to the top bunk, because it is not a step nor a ladder. And so it's funny to be like, okay, RV, this is how I live. And the RV is like, okay, this is how I'm built. And I'm like,
literally,
what are we gonna do? So the collaboration of like my lifestyle and the way the RV is built, I think, is this consistent sort of sometimes argument, sometimes conversation, sometimes like whispered gratitude, but it's always happening.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I was just going to say that we had thought about like adding all this storage to the RV, which there are definitely a couple more storage things that I think we should do. But there's been a really interesting thing of like just accepting the RV for what it is and like not getting more stuff than can fit into the storage that the RV naturally comes with, and like adjusting our lives to the space so that like that's why I love being in the RV so much, because we've custom tailored it to be exactly what we need for life. And I love that.
No more and no less.
No more, no less.
Yeah. And so anytime we're somewhere else, like if we're here at this hotel that we got for work this week, for instance, there's so many things I'm missing about being there.
Literally.
And when I bring things here from there and I go back
then they're not there.
Then I don't have my coffee, I don't have my coffee maker, I don't have the things that I needed for a day in a hotel. So when you have exactly what you need, I'm finding it's really funny to do anything different. You know?
I think it was amazing to buy new, and I think it would have been really helpful to know that ahead of time. So
yeah, if I had known for sure that we could secure the funding, which is a question for everybody. Nobody's out here like, oh, I just have cash I need to figure out how to get rid of. You know, I know it's always a consideration, the new versus used, but it turned out for us that since we were able to finance the RV, should we say how much it was? I feel when I'm not being candid,
it cost about $30,000 in total.
Yeah, so of the $30,000 we were able to finance it, which brought our payments to something very reasonable. Like the minimum payment is something like $170 a month for us. We pay more than that, or we intend to.
We pay like $400 a month.
And so it's helping us pay off faster than they think we should. We could pay it off even faster, maybe if we really dedicated the money to that. But the point is we have some options. Whereas I think that, you know, figuring out how to get together $12,000, for instance, to buy something used, as just an example, would have been extreme financially hard for us at the time, but we wouldn't have any payments. So, and then we would then still be figuring out what needs to be fixed and what's broken and stuff like that. So in this instance, it's super rare. I don't feel this way about anything else, but in this particular moment, I was really glad that we bought the RV new instead of figuring out how to go with buying it used. It's paid off for us, I think, in a lot of ways.
If we'd had more time before we got on the road, I think that we could have still bought used, because like, let's say you have 6 months to get ready to do this. I think that in 6 months you can find an RV that works for what you're looking for. A used RV is going to generally cost less than $20,000. The size RV that we were trying to buy, which is like about a 21-foot rig, something that's very not small, like, it's a pretty small thing, but you are going to have to make alterations to it and adjustments and stuff like that, which I think even in 6 months you can figure out what those things are and like get that figured out. But from the time that we knew we had to move to the time that we had to be out of the house was 2 months. And in that 2 months, we were also working full time and moving out of the old house. Yeah. So to transition to the RV was like, we don't need any surprises. We don't need to get $15,000 together, buy an RV that then the roof is leaking or the floor is leaking or there's something wrong with the septic system or whatever the fuck, the furnace doesn't work, the water heater doesn't work,
friend of mine needs new rims for the 2 wheels on the trailer and they don't exist. She can't find them anywhere.
Literally.
It could be something random. And then she can't go anywhere because the tires don't go.
Exactly. And we needed to be able to go and do what we need to do. So I think that if you have more time, it's definitely a good idea to consider buying used. And a lot of people rent RVs just to like get a taste of the lifestyle, which just the rates that I've seen, it seems expensive, but it's also like, you know, what are you trying to do? Enjoy your life, have fun. I think it's a great way to get a taste of it. But for the amount that you could rent an RV for. You could probably go to RV shows or go to camping worlds or whatever and like tour RVs and pick an RV and finance it at least, or buy it at the rate that you would end up renting for any considerable period of time. I could be wrong about that. I don't really know anything about renting, but I definitely didn't think that buying new would be the better option. And like, it's turned out to be amazing. But one of the reasons to not buy new is that the financing options are outrageous. Like the interest rates are stupid. Like it's shit that you would literally be like, yeah, I don't want to do that. But if you need to do it,
I think it's in part because banks know they can, lenders know that they can. RVs are being sold at unprecedented rates, we're hearing. There's a lot of changes in our culture and society right now, and I think the RV life is, for probably dozens of reasons, one way that people are looking to certainly that we are, right, looking to experience a level of freedom in such uncertainty. It ended up so far working out for us pretty well.
Yeah.
I wanted to put that opinion out there. I've never seen anybody say, no, you should definitely buy new. I've only
never
seen
heard
people
anybody say that.
used. And so I just want to say there are at least a couple of reasons that you may find yourself buying new and feeling okay about it. And these are ours.
Tell us your journey. Do you have an RV? If you do, did you buy new? Did you buy used?
So that's it.
Like and subscribe. Follow our journey. We'll be back soon.
Great. I
Too
love
much.
it. Exactly.